For the next day, I'm gonna be traveling around on this bike, looking at Viking Age runestones, exploring ancient ruins, learning about the history about this region in Sweden named Uppland. We're also gonna be going to a lake, setting up camp, fishing for our food, having a good time, and having great cuisine all around. Anyway, I can't wait for this journey to begin, so let's go. Well, this is a pretty cool little spot. Nice open field. I mean, it's pretty fun to just go outside with your bike. I hadn't been biking for like years prior to this. This isn't even my bike, this is my mom's bike. I don't have a bike. I just asked her, can I borrow your bike, please? She's like, why? I don't know, I'm just gonna go out and do like a silly YouTube video or something. I had a bike since I was like a kid, and I've noticed my cardio is kind of horrible, but I mean, it's kind of fun actually. There's an airplane just above me right now. There's actually a really small airstrip right next to this location on one of these fields. I'm gonna leave it here and I'm just gonna go. My friend is gonna pick me up and we're gonna go to a lake because there's tons of runestones around that place. I will be returning here in a couple hours. We're gonna continue the journey on our own. I've been dropped off again and the sun is finally coming back up. And guess what? My bike, it's still here. Around this area, there's actually tons of oaks. Man, look at this absolutely humongous oak. And it actually has a marking on it, as you might see. Protected and you're not allowed to harm this is very important. Most likely because it's so old. If you don't know how trees work, the thicker it is, the more lines it has in between, the older it is. Every single line to 1 year. There's actually a lot more interesting facts about oaks, which you probably don't know about. Not only do they get really big, but they're also an extremely hard material. Here's another one, just look at these insane branches, and they have been very much associated with royalty. When you think of an oak tree, you think of the royalty. The reason why that is the case, because first of all, oaks are very useful, but they're pretty rare. About 90% of trees in Sweden fall into two categories. Either they're a spruce tree or a pine tree. Third most common tree is birches. They're about 9% or so. All other trees outside of spruce, pine and birch, 1% combined. That means that oak is not even 1%. So the oak tree is extremely valuable because it's such a good material for building ships. It is hard, it is large. This guy, Gustav Vasa, this dude, this is a memory stone of him. I'm gonna explain what it says. But this guy, basically, Gustav Vasa, he enacts a policy in Sweden which makes it so that every single oak tree, it becomes property of the king. This means that if you own land and there is an oak tree on your land, that oak tree doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to the king. The reason why they did this is because there are so few oak trees, they're very rare, and they want every single oak tree to be used towards building ships and nothing else. Oak trees also get harder the faster they grow, which means that they're way better to plant on very fertile ground. Deliberately wanted to plant oak trees on the most fertile ground, but obviously the peasants want to put their food on the most fertile ground so they can get more food. Basically said, nope, no food for you, we need more ships, we need more ships for the navy. And this policy of the king taking all the oak trees, it lasted up until the 1800s, when obviously we stopped using wooden ships. This right here is a memory stone towards Gustav Vasa. We have here Gustav Eriksson Vasa, but up here you see that is the house symbol of the house Vasa. Vasa was basically the family which Gustav Vasa started, which would rule Sweden. A memory stone that Gustav Vasa was born at this location right here. There's a cross over there you see, and there's a bunch of ruins here. On this location, basically, there was a big like mansion, you could say, at one point, which burned down. Stone ruins, this is the only thing remaining. And there's a cross also here which someone has raised. Born in Lindholmen, the 12th of May 1496, made in 1866. Gustav Vasa is seen as probably the most important guy in Swedish history, probably because he's the guy who basically created Sweden, you could say. Sweden did exist before him, but Sweden was part of the Kalmar Union. Denmark had all the control. The capital was in Copenhagen. The Swedish did not like that. The Danish actually went to this capital in Stockholm and they did like basically a massacre where they killed all the noblemen. They invited all the noblemen to a party, and Danish, they just pulled off an epic prank and just killed everyone. Psych, you were invited to this party, we were actually here to just get rid of you. But Gustav Vasa didn't go to the party because he didn't trust the Danish, the stinky Danish. Instead, he told everyone, including his family, don't go to the party, you will be killed. All his family went to the party and they were all killed. So basically what Gustav Vasa did, went back into Stockholm and did a rebellion against the Danish, where he was able to win, and then he crowned himself king of Sweden. This hill is his birthplace, where he once was born like 500 years ago. That's pretty cool. Let's get back to the bike. We have a lot of biking in front of us right now. Long journey ahead of us. I hope you guys like this content, not only because you like camping and outdoor stuff. 30 minutes and then there's like 20 minutes of camping. It's like, dude, did I subscribe for a history channel? Why is this nerd talking to me about like Gustav Vasa? Who cares? I hope you guys like this type of content. You can always tell me if it gets a bit too much. Pretty cool looking church over there. We have finally arrived at a pretty cool location. My hair has its own life right now. It is so insanely windy up here, up on these two massive hills. But these hills are not any regular hills. Oh man, there's a squirrel hiding in that bush. Look, he's running. Yo, oh look, there's a squirrel. Wait, that squirrel is hiding in the wall. Please don't bite me, I'm not gonna like pet you or anything. You can leave, go the other way. Wait, whoa. Did you see that? That squirrel is, he has his nest or something inside of the wall. I've never seen that. Wow, that's so weird that the squirrel is like living inside of this wall. Or maybe it's just hiding from me because he's like scared. I'm sorry, squirrel, because there's a scary tall creature standing on two legs talking to a camera. I mean, I would also be terrified. I mean, imagine like a Titan from Attack of Titan just like shows up to your house and just stands outside of your house talking to like a magical black stick. Man, this bike ride has sucked, because the entire way I have been like biking upwards. I've been biking uphill for like 30 minutes and my legs are completely sore. It's not actually that cold outside in reality. It's just so windy. It's really windy, wind blowing in my face like it's a whip or something. Now we have made it up to this really high up place with these several hills. So much wind you wouldn't be able to hear what I'm saying. So I'm standing here in this little sheltered area from the wind with this little structure. I don't know when this structure is from, if this is like as old as the hills. I will explain what the hills are. These things which look like hills aren't actually hills, but they're graves. Graves from the Iron Age, actually. 1,500 year olds. This is basically Scandinavia, what was going on here before, you know, the Viking Age, which for most people is what, when you think of Scandinavia history, you think of like the Vikings, you think of the Viking Age, which is roughly like year 800 to 1100, depends on who you ask. Bro, this is kind of goofy. Between the years 1901 and 1923, there was actually like a shooting range. They had built a shooting range on this location with these like massive grave hills, and they would use the hills, like the graves, as like cushionings to catch the bullets. I don't know if that's disrespectful towards the people who made these graves. Hopefully I don't catch some type of ancient curse for like laughing at that joke and like I'm like goofing around. Essentially, like, this is not just these free graves. There's like hundreds of people that have been buried at this location. Well, what if the squirrel is like some type of ancient being, you know, spirit being from this location? That was too perfect to be true. I've never seen a squirrel like be inside of this. Like, I would get it if it was like a rat, but a squirrel, that's really weird. I've only seen them in trees goofing around. He's still inside of there. I've been yapping here for like 10 minutes and he's still inside of there. I feel bad for this squirrel. Maybe the squirrel is like the protector, the scout of this location. So in the night, you know, they're gonna go and curse me and haunt me when I'm gonna go to bed or something. That's gonna kind of suck. Hopefully that doesn't happen. That would be kind of cringe, but hey, I kind of deserved it, to be fair. Actually, it's kind of unknown who actually is buried in these graves. The theory is that these are graves for noblemen. Noblemen, they didn't have to pay taxes, but in order to actually be able to, you know, show their status and show that they actually are rich, that they are noblemen, they need to, you know, actually, you know, prove that they are. They would build these massive burial mounds to their lineage. Oh, look at that! Man, look at that! You see that? That's a sea eagle. Man, that's so cool. Oh man, there's another one. Yo! That's crazy. I mean, that seagull, he was out on a date. There were 2 sea eagles at once. Hopefully they don't steal my bike. It's over there. I'm not even looking at it. If that seagull steals my bike, I'm gonna be very pissed. Or maybe... Oh no, guys. Oh, guys, what have I done? What have I done? I think I've been cursed. I think I might have been cursed. First I see that squirrel. That's the spirit of the people buried here. And then the 2 seagulls, they're also the spirit of the guys buried here. Oh man, I'm definitely getting cursed tonight. I gotta be ready, you know. Maybe I gotta do some boxing training in between. Guys, is it possible to knock someone out that has already been permanently knocked out for the last 1,000 years? This is like the IKEA version of the pyramids, basically. I mean, kinda. Dude, the wind up here is crazy. Oh, is that the wind spirit? Oh no, it's the wind spirit. Oh guys, it's the wind spirit. He's ruining my hair, my beautiful hair. I guess I kind of deserve it. I've been goofing around too much at this location. I mean, basically, I am standing on a grave right now. This is, technically speaking, a grave. It doesn't look like one, it just looked like a regular hill. And probably people always thought this was a hill until recently, when you discovered that these are actually burial mounds. Anyway, I'm gonna go down now. Not only is the wind spirit ruining my hair, look at this. Bro, that is not cool. There's so much wind here that my bike has literally fallen over. Bro, that's not cool. That's not even my bike. That's my mom's bike. Wind spirit, you're catching the wrong beef. You don't want to attack my mom's bike. Then it's over for you, wind spirit. I'm gonna come over. You know, here's the thing. These like ghost noblemen, they think they can like spook me around and haunt me. I'm gonna haunt them. I'm not even dead. Not getting away with flipping my mom's bike like that. That's the line. You have crossed the line. Okay, I found a little spot right underneath the hill. Maybe this tree is a little bit blocking the view, but right behind it is the hill. Camera doesn't give this like its fair share of deal. Like, this is actually a really beautiful location. And from the hill, I know it's like super windy and it's kind of annoying. It's really cold to stand up there, but it's a very nice view actually, and it's a very beautiful day actually, and the sun is coming up. It has been cloudy the entire morning. I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna have a little mini snack. One thing, by the way, which I can mention, which is, I feel like a lot of people kind of overlook for some reason. I've seen like so many of my friends I've gone out hiking with, like they forget this, just something to sit on. Like, this is just like, the ground tends to be really cold, you know. And when you sit on a cold surface, it cools your entire body down. So nice. It's so nice to be able to sit down after like standing up, walking or biking for a long period of time. Another weird thing, a tip you can use these for, you know, sitting pads or whatever you call them, is that you can actually use them like this. You blow on the fire. It just gives a lot of oxygen. It's a lot more efficient than just doing like this, blowing with your mouth. You know what is the most goated fruit when it comes to camping, whatever? It's just like some type of mandarin. I think it's called, like, I don't even know what this is called. Like, there's a bunch of different names for this, like, but it's banging. It's good, it tastes good. I need some electrolytes. I've been sweating this entire way. I've said this in some other video, but I genuinely feel like eggs is like the best snacking food ever. I wouldn't, you know, voluntarily, I don't like it to just sit down and have like an entire meal with like 10 eggs. That sucks. So instead, if I eat eggs, I prefer to like snack on them, have like small ones. So if you bring like a bunch of like these eggs, you can just like have them like small snacks. You feel a little bit hungry, but you don't want to sit down and have like an entire meal. You can just whip up a couple eggs and just eat them. They're just like, they last probably like 3 days or more, like in room temperature. They have these shells which protect them from everything. You can just throw them in your bag, boil up a bunch of these and bring them on your trip. And the most important thing, which I think you should think about when snacking, is just like, you need to get some fat in. Because fat keeps you energized for a really long period of time, and that's what eggs are great for. Eggs have protein and fat. So you eat these, not only do you get gains and get pretty big and muscular, but it also keeps you kind of going for a long period of time. Maybe you're stressed out, maybe you have a time limit. You can't just sit down and make an entire meal. You can just eat on an egg while you're walking. If you're a real egg specialist, in just one bite. I don't know why, but for some reason in Sweden, there's actually a tradition to eat these in winter. To eat mandarins and whatever. And also like dates and stuff, which is like kind of strange because dates, mandarins, these type of fruit, like they don't grow in Northern Europe. I don't know when people started doing this, but for some reason it is actually a tradition to eat these in winter. I just eat them year round because I think they're nice. But yeah, especially like you tend to see them a lot in grocery stores. These like just like show up everywhere and everyone started eating them for some reason. I don't know where the tradition comes from. If anyone knows the lore, you can comment that. Anyway, now I have some snack in me and I'm ready to continue to the next location. This was actually pretty cool. I mean, look, there's another airplane coming. Put my bike there. We're at this new location. A little bit of a quick rest. No idea there was like a river here. Look at this. It's actually pretty nice. It's a bit murky and there's even some boats over there. I wonder if you could fish here. You know, whenever I see like bodies of water around these parts, I always think about the Viking Age. Like imagine, do you think they use this like as a river in the Viking Age to get to the ocean? They may have. The wind is crazy out there, man. This open field, there is so much wind. Well, I have a feeling that my hair is gonna look awful wherever I stand today because of the wind. But yeah, we're basically almost at our next location. It's really cool, actually. Right next to it, I really love these like old, you see these red Swedish farm buildings everywhere. There's a bunch of sheep looking at me. What are you guys looking at? I mean, the sheep like me, they tend to do, because I'm wearing, like all the clothes I'm wearing is merino wool like normally. So they probably just think I'm like one of them. They're like looking at me on the other side, like what is bro doing on the other side of the magical fence, which you're not allowed to go past. I love this like theme of buildings. It just really looks nice and wholesome when you're here on the countryside. Check this out. First of all, there's a little runestone here. I didn't know there was a runestone here, but I mean, this one is super damaged. Like it's barely, you can barely read. I apologize for the wind and my horrible hair, but look at this, man. Whoa. Yo. Whoa. This is an abandoned church from the 1300s, so basically 700 years old. Here's where the entrance would have been at one point. You see the steps and everything. Oh, look, there's even more runestones over here. Though I think what I know about these runestones is that they're all extremely damaged. Oh yeah, they are. Look at them. You can barely even tell what it says on them. Here's how the church looks from this side. As you can see, the entire roof is gone. It is only the walls which are remaining. And the reason why that is, you'll notice on a lot of like abandoned old structures from the Middle Ages, old churches and whatever, the roof is always gone. The reason why that is the case is because you can't build a roof really that easily out of rock. And wood obviously decays over time and it rottens. And after a time, the wood, which would have been the roof, will collapse under itself. So the only remaining part will be the stone. Obviously wood decays and it will disappear after hundreds of years. Look at this little room here. Wow. Imagine hundreds of years ago, people would be baptized, married, and they would even be buried here. This church was abandoned sometime in the 1800s. And then just a couple decades after it was abandoned, a lightning bolt hit it. That was the final strike, because that caused a fire in this church. And all the remaining wood started burning up, leaving only this stone structure left. Maybe that lightning bolt was just Thor being kind of butthurt over the fact that he lost to Christianity. I mean, come on, Thor, dude. It was the 1800s. It has been 800 years, dude. Why can't you just forget about it? Anyway, jokes aside, this is a really cool and very surprisingly large structure, actually. And there's actually a kind of wholesome ending to this story. Because in the late 1900s, something happens. You know, 100 years after this church has burnt down and been completely abandoned, you know, people came here and kind of rebuilt and fixed up a lot of stuff. As you might see, there's a new wooden cross here, and as well as this is an altar. And the Church of Sweden basically have built up like a new little like outdoor church, you call it, like it's a church under the sky. Circular window at the top, that's like very nice architecture. You could imagine that at one point there probably was, you know, like a glass window in one of those, and this like big window here probably as well. It would have been like a glass with maybe some art on it or something. Anyway, I think we have seen enough at this location. I think we're gonna head back to the bike, and now we're gonna go for the final long sprint. Man, this is gonna be a really long bike ride probably, but we're finally gonna arrive at the lake. Look at all these seagulls, man. What in the... I have never seen this many seagulls this deep inland. Oh man, if one of these poop on me, I'm gonna lose it. This wind is making it so hard to bike. I'm biking against the wind. I don't get it. Why are there like a bajillion seagulls? What is it that is so interesting right at this one location? Well, it's a bit later now, and I've been biking now for over an hour. I did not think it would take this long to get here, and man, the way here was absolutely horrible. The road was just going all directions uphill, and I had already gone too far to just like give up and surrender. And on top of that, I had to walk for quite some time to even get out here in the first place. After that journey, I think I burned like a ridiculous amount of calories. So I think we're gonna get started with an actual proper lunch. Let's go. This is the spot where I think we're gonna make some food. There is one issue which kind of makes my boots kind of completely useless, which is the fact that if you look at the shoreline around where the rocks are, the entire shoreline is made out of rock, and on the rock there's algae, and it is just insanely slippery. If I would stand there, I would just slip in and fall in. Was this view worth biking for over an hour? Probably not, to be honest. My legs right now, like just like standing up feels absolutely horrible. I mean, like dude, this was like enough cardio for the entire month. I'm not doing cardio for the entire month, or to be fair, I wouldn't be doing cardio for the month anyway, but now I will be skipping cardio ×2. So the worst part is that tomorrow I'll have to wake up again and do the entire journey back as well, which is gonna suck. But I mean, at least I get a night's rest, and hopefully I'm gonna be less sore by tomorrow. Oh, it feels good to just sit down, honestly. But it's weird, because simultaneously my legs, they feel good because they can rest, but my butt kind of still hurts from sitting down, so it's kind of like a weird in-between. One of the reasons why I changed over to these boots, low-key, it's just because there's so much more room in them. Like, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but when you've been wearing like a type of like shoes for a really long period of time, and you start to get blisters, and it's really annoying, and it's sweaty, and it just sucks. It just feels really good to switch over to a different type of shoes. And these shoes are also so much spacious and like have a lot of better ventilation, so that in that sense it's like really comfortable. So even though I won't really get a use with them when it comes to fishing, it's kind of like it's very comfortable. I'm too hungry to even just cook food, so I just gotta smash up some eggs and eat that beforehand. It's weird because it's like when you're walking, you don't really feel as hungry, if you know what I mean. You're biking, you're walking, you're constantly moving, and then the second you just sit down, it's just, it instantly hits you like, man, I'm starving actually. Another mistake I did, I brought way too little water, because I knew water it weighs a lot, so obviously it will weigh me down. By the way, one thing I didn't even mention about the whole biking trip, like I had to do this with all this weight on my back. I don't even know how much the entire bag weighs, but I did thinking beforehand, oh, it shouldn't weigh too much because it's gonna be a long ride, but I think it still weighed a bit too much. On this little alcohol stove, we're gonna cook some beef patties I mixed up now in the morning. Best matches all around. Solstickan. This is like the most OG brand. I actually think this is the brand which invented the modern type of matches we all use today, called the safety match. So Solstickan, it's an absolute Swedish classic. We got some butter on that pan. Let's go. This is really good. I want to try it out. But it's kind of failing. I mean, they are being cooked. It's just that my patties are not able to like hold together. Maybe I did the wrong recipe, but they're kind of collapsing on themselves. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm so hungry anyway. The smell is awesome. It just smells so good. But they're not really holding on together as they should do to actually be like a patty. And I don't just want to make this into some type of ground beef mix, you know. That would be kind of disappointing and it wouldn't really look as good, but I mean, it kind of is turning into something like that at the moment. Well, I think these are as well kind of failing, but hey, it doesn't really matter. I don't even mind. I'm just using salt and pepper, by the way, if you wanted the seasoning, nothing crazy. And drop this on. Oh, come on, I can't believe I missed. I mean, this was meant to be like burger patties, but now it just became like a burger bowl. I throw some cheese into it and I put some ketchup into it. And it tastes literally, it tastes like a burger, but it's like in a bowl form. It's like ground beef burger in a way. Yeah, that was really good. I don't know if it's just because I'm so hungry that it tastes good, if it's because I'm outside that it tastes good, or if it's genuinely really that fire. But wow. Ah, man, this is beautifully good. I think I should just learn the lesson. I just really need a car. Like, I really should just get a car. It's not that easy, you know, if you don't have the money. And I have been saving up some money for it. So hopefully by the next month, I'm actually gonna get a car. So I don't have to, you know, bike for 2 hours in order to make videos like this. Oh, I barely even want to fish. Like, I just want to like go to bed and sleep and just eat so much food, dude. I just feel like ketchup gets so much hate for no reason. I just got thinking about that. Like, ketchup is the most underrated. Like, is ketchup a sauce, by the way? You get philosophical when you're in woods. You think of like life's biggest questions, like, is ketchup a sauce or not? Is it a jam? Is ketchup a jam? It might actually be a jam. Everyone says like ketchup is like for kids, and it's like, oh, you don't have profound taste if you like ketchup. And like a bunch of Italians are the worst. Seriously, Italians, get a life. Seriously, get a life. Italians get so mad when you put ketchup on like everything. Didn't they invent ketchup? I think they invented it. Like, it's like, dude, are you not supposed to use it? Like, if you invent something, why don't you use it? Why do you like, oh, you can't use ketchup? You can use ketchup on literally everything. It also, side rant on Italians. Here, listen to this. If you're Italian, I want you to listen. I like Hawaii. I know, I said it. Or I haven't ate it in years, but as a kid, I really liked Hawaii. I don't know why. I just like pineapple, I suppose. Is it wrong to put pineapple on pizza? Absolutely not. It's awesome. It's in fact epic. Nordics, we're like devious. We're literally devious for putting ketchup on everything and making crazy pizzas like kebab pizza, pineapple pizza. And as well, in Finland, there's literally a pizza named after an Italian prime minister. Deliberately made that pizza after him to make fun of Italy. Like, it's literally fantastic. It is brilliant. I don't know, it's like a silent food beef between the Nordic countries and Italy for some reason, and I kind of enjoy it. I like it. Oh, well, that was really good. A lot of protein, a lot of food. Let's go and do the dishes and then we can get fishing. So I was just looking for a really good spot to put up the tent, and I mean, there's several areas here where it's very open where I could put it up. But then I went back to the bag to check for the tent, and yeah, I didn't bring the tent with me. So let's get real. I'm not gonna just like whip out my stuff and just lay there like in the middle of the woods at night. That's way, like, that is where my spook limit goes too much. That is way too much. I'm not doing that. Maybe I could just lay here right next to the lake, though it's way too hard, the surface here. To be fair, that wouldn't be possible. Okay, so I mean, that's kind of bad. I mean, that's really bad actually. You know what I just realized with that? The fact that I don't have the tent. I'm not gonna stay over the night. That means that I have to bike the entire way back home. You know, I was already planning to do that, but I thought I was gonna do that tomorrow. and get like 8 hours of sleep, get some rest in, and then I would stay here in the morning. And you know, it will be quite some time before I get to do that again and get a lot of rest in my legs still. That means I have to bike back the entire way again today before it gets dark as well, because like biking back, most of the road here was like in the complete nowhere out in the woods. That means I will have to bike in darkness in the forest in the middle of the woods. Well, because there won't be any dinner, I suppose I'm just doing an extended lunch, a lunch 2.0, which to be fair isn't that bad considering how hungry I am. Strawberry flavored dates. Man, I really wonder what these taste like. Oh man, this is looking kind of fire. I don't know, it kind of messed up the shape and the consistency a little bit. I think I used too much water again, but hey, it looks pretty okay. It's like a chocolate mousse, dough baked thing with protein in it, covered with smaller pieces of chocolate with nuts, as well as dates with strawberry flavor on them. Wow, I did not think it would be this good. If you're thinking maybe it's not the best idea to eat this much chocolate and sugar, here's the thing, man. I need these carbs in order to get home. I'm not getting home if I don't have these carbs, okay? Though, to be fair, the consistency on this is a bit off. The fuel just lasted to make this. Literally as I went off, like literally as I was done, the fuel ran out. It was almost perfect. I didn't have to put out the fire or anything. Man, look at this piece. There's just like a big chocolate piece on it. I'm so happy that I brought the chocolate with the nuts, because like that crunch is just really nice. It just adds, because this like chocolate baked mix is so soft and the chocolate is melted, but having that little bit of crunch is like really nice towards the texture. So I gotta give credit to every single tree in this forest for blocking me from the wind, which was like literally bullying me the entire way here. Like it was literally awful. Now simply, like it isn't even that cold outside today, it's just the wind. The wind really cooled me down so much, but now that I got in here protected, like it's a lot warmer. Oh, water tastes good now, but I brought way too little water with me anyway. I think I'm just gonna try to call somebody and see if they want to pick me up. That would be the best, I suppose. That would be the easiest thing for me at least. So I'm gonna try to do that. So basically, update on the calling situation. I called a lot of people and some didn't answer, some couldn't help me out. And I thought, okay, it's kind of over. There's always one left. There's always the goat. My legs are spared. So I suppose that's the best alternative for me. But until then, I have quite a lot of time to actually go fishing at this lake. I mean, look at this. It has been a lot hotter recently. So I think the fish should be a lot more active than they were when I was here last time. And it was cold in the water. Man, I couldn't catch anything because the water was so cold and the fish was inactive. I think it should be pretty good now. I see like the two lines of two absolutely massive rocks, and I feel like I might get stuck in one of those, so I think I'm just gonna change position. This is something you really need to look out for. If you get stuck in one of those in the water, it's over. And I thought it couldn't get worse. Look at this. How is that even possible? I know the line has a tendency to get stuck in literally everything, but how does it get stuck in a zipper? That is crazy. By the way, I think the zipper actually was invented by a Swedish guy, so I suppose that's like friendly fire or something. Start moving back and maybe fish something on the way, and hopefully I'm able to catch something in the end, just like I've done many other times where I catch nothing throughout the entire day, and then somehow I manage to catch something just at the end. Because the fishing is going absolutely horrible, I'm gonna distract you by doing what I do absolutely best, which is yapping notoriously about just some random history fact. Anyway, over here, or not right here, but kind of close, there is a mountain slash like really high hill. It's like the highest position, at least around this area around Stockholm, and it's called Rövarberget. It's like the Bandit Mountain, and the name of it has a pretty interesting history. They got this name from a thing which happened in the 1700s during the Great Northern War, when Sweden fought against Russia and it was kind of losing. Like, Sweden were winning in the beginning of the war, but then Russia kind of counterattacked and started to pillage the coastline around the Baltic Sea, which Sweden controlled at the time. So Russian ships were basically just going around and doing what we did like a couple 100 years earlier in their country in Russia. You know how the Vikings went around pillaging and raiding? There was actually some Russians who were stranded. So what they did is that they went deep inland to this area and they found some caves in these mountains where they could hide. And then these Russians who were stranded, they would go and raid some local villages for supplies in order to survive. And they even ended up kidnapping some women, right? And they went to this mountain. All the cave systems today are not there anymore because they have collapsed on themselves. By the way, this story is a little bit like, it's not super clear if it actually happened or if it's just like lore, if it's like people who made this up because it's a story. But basically that's what the name comes from. I'm not quitting just yet, but I've basically quit mentally. I've basically kind of given up. I've tried for a couple hours now, but I'm not so certain I'm gonna catch anything on this one, considering I haven't catch anything earlier. That's a pretty good throw, actually. People who say I skip leg day, nah, this is why. This is my leg day, trust me, trust me. But a bit sad I wasn't able to stay over the night. But to be fair, I don't know if I would have been able to catch any more fish by then, by how bad that went anyway. I didn't get haunted by those Iron Age noblemen spirits anyway, so that's good. But maybe their haunting wasn't actually to be spooky, but just stopped me from catching any fish. They scared away all the fish instead. But other than that, I mean, it was a pretty cool adventure and it was a pretty fun and beautiful bike ride. The lake was awesome, the entire landscape we went through was really awesome. Make sure to subscribe because there's more actually epic content on the way here. If you like and subscribe so I can actually afford having a car.